This video is partly sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is actually the only one of these laptops in all of the UK right now, so I should probably be careful with it. But ASUS very kindly sent me this engineering sample, so this is not a final model of the new ZenBook Pro Duo OLED, the UX582, and I've also got this guy, its little brother, the UX482, which is a 14-inch laptop, but they both have these screen pad pluses. These are both dual screen laptops. So what exactly is new with this? Because from the outside, it doesn't look an awful lot different to before. Well, really, it's a bit of an evolutionary upgrade. One of the first things you'll notice is the Screen Pad Plus now pops up a lot further. We've got this new AAS Plus hinge. It's a whole new design of hinge. So when it's fully open, the whole base of the laptop is lifted up a little bit. It's what ASUS call their Ergo Lift technology, which helps with airflow. But also the screen pad is now at a more comfortable angle. So not only does that help make it look like we've just got this one tall screen where they kind of blend into each other, as you can't really see the bottom bezel of the main screen anymore, but most importantly, it just makes the screen pad a lot easier to see and therefore use. And also crucially, it's a lot brighter as well. That was one of my issues with the previous gen. I think it peaked at about 280 nits for the screen pad. Now it's up to 400, so it's a lot easier to use. It is still LCD as opposed to the OLED on the main screen, which is partly down to cost, but also it does help reduce reflections because this is a matte screen, this is glossy. So the panels do look a little bit different, but I think it's a smart decision. So whole new hinge, better airflow, which also means better cooling. We're also getting a bigger battery in here for up to about 28% longer battery than the previous gen, which is a big upgrade because previously I was getting about 4.5 hours from this kind of laptop. As I say, this is an engineering sample, so I can't give you final figures, but I'm looking at probably around 6 hours with this, which is still not fantastic, but considering you're getting two 4K screens and some pretty beefy specs as well, isn't bad at all. And speaking of the specs, one of the big upgrades is the fact that you'll be able to get this with up to an RTX 3070, an i9 10th gen processor, up to 32 gigs of RAM, and up to 1 terabyte of storage. I do kind of think that since this is a more productivity-based laptop, that having 64 gigs of RAM or 2 terabytes of storage options would have been nice to see, but still, this is an incredibly powerful laptop. Although I wouldn't really buy this one if gaming is your priority, because for that, if you want the ultimate gaming experience, then that's what the ROG Zephyrus Duo 15 is all about. Slightly more powerful specs, up to a 3080, high-res screen options. So for gaming, that's the one you want. This one, while still a pretty decent gaming laptop, I mean, 3070 is no slouch, but I think this is more oriented towards creatives, designers, and just getting work done. So new graphics cards, new processors, a slight redesign with an all-new hinge, which makes the screen pad more comfortable, which is also brighter now as well. And we're also getting updated screen pad software because previously, while this was a cool idea, the UI and the actual experience of using the screen pad wasn't the best. It was quite buggy. ASUS have gone to some length to actually improve that, make it more responsive, and just work better. So while those updates will also be coming to older models of this, which is great to hear, I think the software side of things is just as important as the updated hardware. Just a quick shout out to my favorite VPN provider, Surfshark. I use this all the time, not just for watching US Netflix or accessing websites I can't normally get to here in the UK, but for me it's turning on clean web, which then helps prevent tracking, ads, malware, and all that bad stuff. And considering I'm online about 99% of my day, I may as well do it as securely as possible. So check out Surfshark VPN in the description below, or use the code TechChap to get 83% off and also 3 months extra free. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not super duper satisfied. The big question with these kind of laptops is, what am I going to use this second screen for? Now for me as a video creator, I spend half my life in Premiere Pro, so for me this is one of the best use cases. I've got all my video files, my media browser down here. So let me show you what I did. If I reset the work layout here, you can see by default it's not really using it, but then what I did was bring the media browser down here. And you can see it doesn't auto scale because this is within the app. So I kind of had to manually adjust the size of this, which is a little bit awkward. Now I can maybe expand this a little bit, bring that down. And so I can scroll through my timeline. I can then maybe bring in the videos from below, and it's all nice and fast. And well, when this has the updated specs, this should be a lot smoother as well. So don't take this performance to be indicative of how it will be for the retail model. So that would be my video editing setup. But let's say I want to bring up a bit of Spotify. There's no real point of it taking up my full screen. So I can either use the touchpad, my mouse, or my finger to then bring it down to the screen pad, which automatically fills up the screen, but then I can minimize it. And like the Windows Snap feature, I can then split it into two halves. I could then maybe have Discord on the other side, or I can bring this over and split the screen into thirds, and then maybe bring the web browser down as well. So I've got Spotify, Discord, YouTube going on, so I could maybe even switch that to Twitch. Let's say even full screen Twitch, put it into theater mode, and then maybe I could fire up the same game at the same time, or watch one of my friends' streams on Discord, so I could be playing it and then seeing what they're looking at as well. If you're a student and you're writing or researching a paper, you could bring Google Docs, or I've got Word here, down to the screen pad, and then you could bring up your notes or some articles or web browsers, whatever you like. So I can have my research and my different tabs open on the main screen, and then my essay or whatever I'm doing on the screen pad. And the best bit is if you then set all this up and you have it exactly how you like it, you can then bring up the command center down here and create a new task group and essentially save this layout. And so then with a single press, it'll bring up everything you've saved to that task group. We've also got the screen navigator, which shows you which apps are assigned to the screen pad and then which ones are for the main display. So if I were to tap this PC, I can then choose to move it down to the screen pad, or I can just tap this and it moves it. Same with, say, Spotify here, I could push that up. So this is just a really easy way of telling the laptop where you'd like the particular program or app to display, main screen or screen pad. You've also got a quick hide button, which then just clears everything on the screen pad. You can also link your phone and connect it to my ASUS if you want to. You can also lock the keyboard. So let's say if I'm gonna be drawing or using the pen or using my hands, this is now locked. So this isn't gonna do anything, and I can then use it as a palm rest essentially and do all my finger gymnastics or whatever it is I'm doing on the screen pad. So that's quite a handy feature, and then you can just unlock it again to use the keyboard. But you've got the usual range of apps. As I say, handwriting, this isn't really new, but this could be useful if you want to sign documents or do some handwriting to text recognition. You've also got number key if you want a calculator. What else have we got here? I've put Windows Explorer in, so quite often I like to just have my documents down here. But one of the coolest new features is this control panel. This is part of the new Screen Expert 2.0 UI, and you have this customizable control panel, which should make using some apps that support it just easier to use. You can basically move things around, you can adjust what each tool does, so that's great, but I don't seem to be able to actually use the proper control panel within a program, and also it's limited to just Photoshop. This should show a whole range of Adobe apps. So some issues there, this being a pre-release engineering sample. So if I put that to one side and bring in the UX 482, this is a final release version, and you can see the control panel is working correctly. In fact, if I bring up the control panel settings here, you can see that we actually have a whole bunch of options here. After Effects, Lightroom Classic, Photoshop, Premiere Pro. They will expand on this over time, but for now it's just these Adobe apps. You can see here I've got my timeline zoom. So if I were to rotate this in, I can zoom in on my timeline. I've got time axis adjustment, so I can very slowly, frame by frame, go through my video. And I've just got quick shortcuts. And it just gives you this really professional feeling interface, which you can totally customize, all just to make me faster and more efficient on this screen. But when this is released and it has all its final software, you'll be able to have this on here, which should be a really nice experience, particularly with this bigger 4K screen size and also the additional brightness. Which brings me to my next question of which one should you go for, the 482 or the 582? Well, I'll reserve final judgment for my full review because this is a pre-release model of this, but they are fundamentally quite different laptops because the 482 is obviously a lot smaller, it's more portable, lighter weight, it's also full HD across both screens and also matte and LCD. Whereas on this guy, we're getting a bigger 15.6-inch main screen, also a bigger 14-inch screen pad. They're both 4K. Also, this is an OLED panel, so with that, you're getting the much better, almost, well, 1,000,000 to 1 contrast, and also support for Display HDR 500. But of course, you are getting that extra bulk. It isn't the end of the world, thick and heavy. It's about 100 grams lighter and about 2.5 mil thinner than last year's UX 581, so they have slimmed it down a little bit, but weighing 2.4 kilograms and at about 21.5 millimeters thick, it is quite a big laptop, so you'd have to obviously keep that in mind if you are traveling with this. So I think the 582 is much more of a sort of desktop replacement, whereas this is more of a traditional travel laptop. So you're either looking at this thinking that's the best thing in the whole world, I can think of a million reasons why I'd like to use this, or you're thinking, why not just plug it into a external monitor or a second screen or something, because that would just be easier, which it would. But then if you're planning to use this as a laptop, it's portable, then I think this really does help, because I can imagine the scenario where I'm back traveling again. It seems like a million years since I've been anywhere. But if I'm in a hotel room editing a video, being confined by a regular 15-inch laptop screen isn't the best when I'm trying to edit and color correct and bring in tons of files. I can definitely see myself using this if I was working on the go. So I don't think it's a gimmick at all, really. And also I do appreciate the upgrades we're getting this year with the new hardware, the better hinge, the improved screen pad. And while I still don't love the keyboard and touchpad, and this particularly is a pretty hefty device, considering the extra functionality you're getting, particularly with the new control panel, which I can't wait to try out properly on this when I get my review sample, it all adds up to make this a stunning laptop, and I think one of my favorite devices of the year so far. But what do you reckon? Would you be tempted to buy one of these? And also, how would you use the second screen? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and maybe even give me a cheeky thumbs up. And I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat. Oh, and don't forget to give Surfshark VPN a try. Click below or use the code TechChat for 83% off and 3 months extra for free.